Welcome to Gab Jam, episode 156. This year is probably the most memorable for everybody who is going through it. So our topic today is lessons learned in 2020. We always like to take the good out of any situation or find the good. So this is our way of saying no matter how difficult it was for people, you know, through this year, what can we take that can help us moving forward?
Right. Yeah. So I think the theme for this year just had to be being able to be nimble and change on a dime.
Okay, so that's the first lesson is make sure you stay nimble and be ready to change.
Yeah, that you have to understand that forces outside of your control can have a huge impact on what your plans are.
Yes.
You have to do that, and to the extent that those things happen, you have to be able to refocus and readjust.
Yes.
And this year taught us that more than any other year.
Yeah.
Because we never knew what was going to happen next.
Right.
You know, from week to week, or day to day, week to week, month to month. We just, you know, who knew back in March when we're doing this whole shutdown thing that we would kind of still be in this.
That was just. The numbers then look small compared to the numbers now.
Right.
So, and that's even with the vaccine. You know, people are saying, oh, things will go back to normal, but when?
Yeah.
I mean, if people are just not getting the vaccine and it's December, and that's not everybody that's getting it.
And there's a lot of mistrust. And there's a lot of mistrust of vaccines. There's, you know, and so, so again, it's sort of like you've got to be ready to adjust, to refocus, to kind of say, okay, if this isn't happening, what can I do?
Yeah.
You know, what other things can I do in order to produce income, whatever it is that you need to do?
Yeah, because it affects all kinds of industries and businesses, and everybody's working from home and learning from home and all that stuff. So so to be ready to pivot.
Yeah, be ready to pivot quickly, be ready to change. And you always need to have that anyway. I mean, even if it's not this, it could be something else, you know, because the thing that this has got to teach you is that you don't want to be Blockbuster. You know, you don't want to be stuck holding on to what used to work for you, even given the fact that other things have kind of changed the landscape. You know, you want to be Netflix when it comes to this. You know,
nobody remembers. So you have to be as old as us to remember when Netflix used to send you one CD in the mail, and it couldn't even be one DVD, and it couldn't even be a new release.
Right, and so what it was is that there was a deal that was struck between the studios and Blockbuster that allowed Blockbuster to get these things when they first came out. Netflix had to wait a month in order for them to allow you to rent them. So Blockbuster was always ahead of the game. And so Netflix had to figure out a way, like, wait a minute, we're always going to be behind the game. This is a losing strategy for us. And so one of the things they came up with was their own original program. So now all of a sudden you had to come to them in order to get this particular program. It changed the game.
It really did.
Completely changed the game.
Yeah, for everybody.
Right.
So now
everything changed.
Every cable outlet is trying to have original programming to keep you coming back.
Exactly.
Because they're competing now.
So huge. You know, and that had to open up a lot of things for actors.
Right, because it used to be, if you were an actor and you made it to movie status, it cheapened you to go back and do some television. And now the lines are fluid.
It's like, completely. Now we're starting to see new releases. Wonder Woman is supposed to come out on HBO. You know, so again, this is refocusing, changing, doing things differently because the new normal has changed. And you always have to be ready to adapt to whatever the new normal is. It's either you adapt or you die.
And it's, you know, I guess time out for hiding in the corner, you know, I'm sorry for the people who have, you know, issues, but you know, you can't keep, I guess, focusing on the negative. I guess that's really the big thing. You have to figure a way through, a way out.
You have to.
I'm saying, like you said, that's kind of amplification for what you have to do for life anyway.
Because after a while, it has to come down to the point, I have breath.
Yes.
I might not have blah, 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 but I have breath. So as long as I have breath, that means I have a chance.
Yes.
I mean, and you have to take that as the way that you're looking at it.
Yeah.
And life has peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how low a person's valley might be. I don't know how low my valley might be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there are things this year that even took me aback, you know, that I had to kind of readjust, you know, that were completely out of my control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, I got to readjust to this. Like, okay, so what if this? Or what if that? You know, and even if the worst happens, I still got to do this.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the only way that you can kind of persist with it. Because otherwise, you know, otherwise you get to that point where you give up.
Yeah.
You know, and if giving up is not an option,
right,
then that means you have to adapt.
Yeah, so. I like that. Well, that was a big old number one. All right, so number two kind of piggybacks on that.
Right.
And it is the ability to rise to the challenge. So sometimes you don't know how even, I guess, tough you can be unless you are challenged.
Right.
And I guess for us, it was, you know, to be able to say, you know, if travel is shut down, if, you know, what can we do? I mean, it goes back to your number one. Actually, that number one was like a power bill.
Yeah.
Because what can we do to make sure that we're networking, to make sure that it, you know, as we release music, that we can get it to people in a different way than maybe we had thought originally.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, and we kind of leaned in to the social media since it is available. I mean, we have tools now that kind of help us with that.
I mean, again, it's back to that. You have to figure out a way to adapt. And again, this is definitely not meant to be in any way discouraging. To me, it's empowering.
It is.
Because you have to, the only way you could kind of get through things like this is you have to look and see, what can I control? Like, I remember, you know, times when I was unemployed. And it was like, okay, what can I control? Well, the grass looks bad. We have a lawnmower. I can go cut the grass. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, even if it's just something like that, I can go cut the grass. What else can I do? Well, I didn't get resumes out today. I can get some resumes out. These are things that I can do in order to, you know, in order to make things better for me. So I don't have to be unproductive just because of the fact that I didn't have a job at the time. As much as it was like, what can I do to make sure that I'm doing something that's positive, that's taking me towards that? Because sometimes it's about also, I think, you know, keeping positive energy around yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
So if it's working out, whatever it is, things that you can do that are positive, I think also helps with respect to, because you need to have that positive energy in order to adapt. You have to have that. So I think that that's a big aspect too, is making sure that you are doing things within your control that you can take care of. So if there's stuff that around the house is like, well, I haven't done blah, 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 I haven't done. Yeah, because I know during one period of time, it was like, hey, shoot, you know, I changed the garbage disposal. I'd never done that before in my life. You know what I'm saying? Needed to be done. It's like, I can't afford to pay a plumber. I'm not going to do that. You know what? I kind of looked at it. It's like, okay, you do this, do that, and
thankfully now we have YouTube. I'm saying back when we first moved out here, we didn't even have that. So when I went to go do some things, I had to figure out from start to finish. I'm saying now, whenever we're confused about how to do something, I'm sure there's a video, or I'm sure there's a blog or something out there.
You know, so I say that about musicians, whatever else. I mean, have you explored doing like online lessons? Have you explored doing anything like that? Whereby, you know, you could get, you know, students, whatever, and, you know, teach people, just do some other stuff that might be able to bring some money, you know, in, you know. So, I mean, just keep exploring what your options can be. You know, that's what, you know, so, and again, you might look at it and say, well, you know, it's not going to be that much, but it's something. You know, and sometimes if you have nothing, you have to start with something. And you can build on something. It's a lot harder to build on nothing. So.
And then you're not going to feel good about yourself moving forward if you don't at least try. And then, of course, it is the ability to pivot into something new and creative, which goes back to your first point. I guess for us, it was deciding, again, I'm going back to the lack of being able to travel, and then you know, we had our minds all set on music conferences and like, okay, we're gonna really, you know, go at it with full force and all that. And I guess again, I wasn't sure that we could be social, and so that already was a challenge.
Right.
But now to get back into that isolation, it's easy for us to be hermits.
Right. Yeah.
And so the thing has been, even in these past few months, has been making sure I'm staying active on social media. There are weeks and days and weeks where I don't feel like logging in.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nope, I got to keep the lines of communication open. And then also we have, the Facebook groups.
Yeah.
So we have people that probably are looking to us for some encouragement and inspiration. And every now and again, I have to remember that. It's like, it's not just about you.
Yeah.
It's about the role that you have taken on with these people who might need more. Again, we're not struggling, I guess, financially.
Right.
Whereas there's some people who need, they need some of that, and then they need some encouragement.
Yeah.
So I just always feel the need to either share resources or say, hey, how's it going? Or, and so that's kept me into that whole networking.
Yeah.
So even when I was struggling myself to say I don't really feel like reaching out, I thought about the fact like you at least need to post once every couple days, and go out and see or see what links other people have dropped. Go watch their videos, go listen to their songs, give them some feedback. I'm saying all of that stuff is the stuff that helps keep you moving on. I know for me, when other people do it for us. Yeah. So I thought about that, and so this was a year to say, just keep that connecting to other people.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. It's like, and I know people may say, well, if you're not, financially strapped, if you're not going through this, then you don't really understand what I'm going through. But you have to say back to that. It's like, it's not like I've never been financially strapped. I've definitely been there before. Yeah. So, as much as I just have to say, I mean, people can have sympathy for you, and they can say, oh, I feel so sorry for it, but that's not gonna help you either.
No,
and or they can forgive you, say, oh, well, it's fine if you do nothing. And even if people say that it's fine if you, that's not gonna help you.
It's not gonna make you feel.
It's not. It's
good
at the end of the day, it's not. It. You have to figure out a way to dig yourself out of that hole. Yeah. And once you do figure out a way to dig yourself out of the hole, you actually are going to appreciate the fact that you were in the hole in the first place.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the fact that what it took to dig out of that hole is going to be something that takes you to a whole level of greatness. Yes. And you look back on, you say, man, if I hadn't had that hole, I wouldn't have known that I had this in me.
Wow.
So it takes the hole to get you there.
You're preaching good. That's what Gary Vaynerchuk said. He was saying that sometimes he gets sad at how comfortable he is getting in life, and he said, I remember those early days when I had to scrap and scrape, and even though it was tough, he was like, I would have never built what I built.
You never would
if I didn't have that whole struggle, and had to figure it out. And now that he figured it out, it's like there's no going back. Right. But he's like that sometimes he misses that because that was something to make him jump out of bed, like, oh, I gotta pay this bill, so I gotta get up and figure this out.
Right.
So yeah. So yeah, we hope somehow that this helps to get you motivated to get. I don't care what it is, and we were binging on. Well, I've been binging on YouTube videos for the past couple of days. We just got this app, and it was a really not expensive app, but I feel like it's going to be a game changer when it comes to the videos that we're making. So even if it's just going and watching videos, and they're free. I mean, once you got the internet connection, that's free. That's free. And just enrich yourself. I feel so motivated and empowered just from going down and watching those videos, even if it's something as simple as that. That might help bring you to the motivation to get up and do something for yourself. So
that's the main thing, is that you got to keep that part of your motivation going. That I know it may look insurmountable, but you've got life is built. It's made of peaks and valleys. So the thing is that you hit a valley, you can't say that this is where I gotta stay. No. Because you don't have to stay. No. You never have to stay there. No. And so you could always dig your way out. And again, that's where you're gonna find your greatness. So. And
that's kind of the big takeaway, the lessons that we learned in 2020. What do you think? What did you discover about yourself or about the world around you that has become even clearer because of the situation that's going on? We'd love to hear what's going on with you. Leave it in the comments below.
Yep.
What else?
We're still working on still doing Sugar Fit, right?
We're gonna be doing Sugar Fit, so you better get used to it.
Yeah, so all streaming services, Amazon, so Spotify, Apple Music, but go over to Bandcamp. You know, you can get that. You can pick up all other stuff that we have over there. I mean, right now it's Christmas season, so you can pick up that
Base Christmas.
Base Christmas is over there. Woo-hoo. So anyway, the whole catalog's pretty much over there on Bandcamp. So. Yep, check it out, Sugar Fit.
Yep. If you dig the vibe, be sure to
subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and
chicken grease.